We're sitting down today with Patrick again, and this is a follow-up video to the big video we put up just after Christmas. About his journey with pancreatic cancer. So how are you doing today?
Good. Tired.
Yeah, it's kind of late.
Well, getting over COVID.
Yeah, that'll do it. So last we left you, you were getting ready to go to a doctor's appointment with your new oncologist that's local here. I know that went kind of interesting. Explain how that went.
Well, evidently incompetence is systemic where I'm at. It's not a one-off. Desiree went with me to the doctor, and we were sitting there waiting. He came in and he said, "So, you have prostate cancer?" And we're both like, "No, pancreatic." "Oh, okay." And he's sitting there talking to us, and I said, "The last two scans have showed my tumors have shrunk. So is there a possibility if it gets down to only the pancreas that I could have the Whipple surgery?" The Whipple surgery is where they remove the pancreas, and it gives you about a 5-year lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently it's brutal. Some people that had it wish they'd never had it. But I asked, and he said, "Well, that is out of the question because you have so many tumors in your liver. Once it hits the liver, you're on the fast track to the end."
Yeah, that's terrifying.
So it's one thing I'm always checking on the blood tests are my liver numbers constantly. That's your concern. And I've had nothing in my liver. All this time they've told me there's nothing in my liver. So then he's like, "Oh, well, wait a minute." And he looks at, "Oh, they're in your lungs. I'm sorry." Which told me that he never once looked at my file. He had no idea who I was, nor did he care. We weren't there 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, and well, done with you, but because he's here local, I can have my chemo local.
Right.
And I already had the bad experience with the last doctor and complained. So if I did it again, I'd just be a whiner or a complainer. And we have a fallback, a fantastic, nationally known doctor who specializes in pancreatic. And so that's who we have to fall back on. If there's a problem, if there's an immediate question, we could contact and have a response right away. So this is a means to an end. That's all he is a tool in my toolbox.
Yeah.
That's it. Because obviously he doesn't care.
Well, you have another doctor at the main campus.
Right.
And, if I was not there with you at that appointment, I would have never believed in a million years that those conversations took place because it's so bizarre and so... That shouldn't happen. And I have a lot of friends who are in different spots in the medical field, and every one of them is like, "You need to report him. Let's report him now. I will help you report him." But you've decided that's just not the route we're going, and I understand that and I can respect that.
The one thing for me, though, is this is pretty much the kind of care I expected and received through the Veterans Administration Hospital in the 80s. Times have changed. I'm talking the 80s. We're talking almost 40 years ago. But had you not been there, things would have went bad. Because it's serious. It's not a joke, and it's not something, oh, you shouldn't get angry. To be told there's nothing wrong with my liver, and then all of a sudden to be told what he said is a big thing. That's a big thing.
Sadly, it's not unique, not isolated to the pancreatic cancer, the oncology stuff, because as you know, I just had the same experience with a doctor training with my ankle doctor who came in and had no clue what the heck was going on. As you know, she only what she want to talk about is the screws they took out of my leg instead of looking at the whole picture. She just looked at this 15-minute surgery that I had versus the whole ankle surgery.
And told you the exact opposite the surgeon told you.
Right, exact opposite. She chastised me for wearing a brace. Why do you feel you need to use a brace? And then the doctor came in and said you need to wear that brace and do all these things, exactly what she told. So it's not unique.
I can't help but wonder these hospitals, money and branching out new facilities all over God's green earth, and giving schedules to these doctors that are just impossible, that all they're doing is running from one room to another. You know, you wonder what the full story is. But either way,
right,
no matter what the story is, it's me on the line.
Right.
And I care about me and my longevity. I got family, I got friends. I realize, you know, what this is. I understand the end game. I'm not stupid. But for the love of God, at least act like you care, you know, and you know what you're doing.
But the thing is the hospital system that we're using that we're not going to name, 10 years ago, 20 years ago,
5 years ago,
subpar, you know, this would be considered subpar, and heads would have been rolling. Now it doesn't matter.
It's a place I've gone to since 65 when I was 3 years old, that I've always said is the best in the world. And we're not going to state where it is, like you said.
Right.
But what a disappointment. And I'm hearing it actually from other doctors at different facilities.
Yeah. Well, my dad ended up at the same hospital, but he ended up passing. But the care couldn't have been better that he received. But that was in a different
That was a completely different situation. But, you know, even when I had to utilize it for when I had to have surgeries, it wasn't like this then. I mean, I guess it kind of was.
We did have issues. You had issues.
There was some issues, but they told me I wouldn't walk again, and I'm cruising around just fine. So
after your visit with the doctor, you end up in the hospital.
Twice. But let's talk about the first
Twice.
time.
We'll talk about the first time.
The first one, I had the infection.
Yeah. Well, you had a fever.
I had a fever and I was freezing, which I go through a lot anyway from chemo. Sometimes from chemo, you're just so cold you can't get warm. I mean, you guys even bought me a little space heater. And believe it or not, I put my hands in front of my face, and it feels so good. And they also were kind enough to get me an electric blanket. And I'm going to tell you all what. Oh my God. That is amazing. That's a change of life thing. It may sound silly to some people, but I'm here to tell you, if you got chemo, go get an electric blanket, man. You'll appreciate it. So I was getting, you know, it's just another day to me. But you called your friend who's an RN who said to get me there immediately. I had a temperature, what was it?
Right. Well, I came home and you had the house heat cranked and you were shivering, you were freezing. It was way hotter than it was ever okay in this house. And you had a temperature, I think it was 102. Or maybe it was a little over 101, and she said, we need to get you to the hospital now.
And they did tell us whenever I have a fever, I'm supposed to go to the ER. So we went, and they tested for everything, and it turned out I had a urinary infection. So I got more pills.
Yeah, we got.
Speaking of pills, these are some days I've had. These are PM. there's 16 pills. AM, there's 15. Not Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Whoop! Wednesday, you're wondering why. There's still pills, but not on Wednesday PM.
Yeah, Patrick, why are you missing pills?
Well, they call it chemo brain. I have the hardest time sometimes. They'll ask me, have you had your pills? I'm like, yeah, I've had them. And I haven't. And I'm not lying. I just swear I've taken them.
Well, you're taking other pills too. Outside of those, you take the powder, and I think your brain gets
There's
tricked.
a powder I take. I don't want to show it because I really don't. We're not trying to tell people what meds to take or not take.
Not even close.
This is for me. My pills for me. Pills that I accepted. No one's forced these on me. These are pills that probably took me, 2 months to even venture into researching.
Correct.
And it wasn't, I had help from other people. Nobody wanted to tell me what to take. They just wanted to make damn sure that I did my homework. And so me, my own, and there's a lot of people that disagree with what I do. And I don't really care. Yeah, people can believe what they want, whatever's good for them. I'm not going to discourage them. I'm not going to judge them. Well, this is mine, and mine alone. And it's a pain in the neck, having to take that many pills. Trust me. I'd rather not have to take them, but then again, I'd rather not have to go to chemo.
Yeah, well, people that are in chemo need help. That's just the way it is. They need people to help them. Because you can't keep all this straight by yourself. There's just no way.
I do want to throw out there, those aren't even normal pill boxes anymore. The biggest pill boxes we could possibly find wouldn't hold as pills. Those
These
are
were
actually
Joanne fabric.
craft for buttons or beads or something. Those are craft containers because there was just not room. We were very meticulously stacking pills in the biggest containers we could find, and they still didn't fit. So it looks like there's a lot of room in there, but because that's probably 3 times the size of the largest quote unquote pill box you can get.
Now, you ended up in the hospital for a second time.
Yes.
And this one was a little more serious than the UTI.
But it was the same situation. I had the fever. I was freezing.
But this time you were
I
coughing.
made that
Coughing.
decision for you to go to the
I was
the
coughing.
hospital that time.
I ended up going to ER, tested for everything. This time, a member of my family gave me COVID. Me and my 81-year-old father. What a joy that was. Me with cancer and him being 81.
Yeah.
Wow, like winning the trifecta. It was just awesome. So we ended in there for that. And
Keep in mind, she knew she had it, or that
Yeah.
person knew she. We're not saying who it is.
not a good thing. It was not a good thing.
Folks just need to have awareness when you're dealing with folks that are dealing with these problems, because it's like autoimmune, right? Where
Pretty
your
much he's got a suppressed immune system.
where your immune system
Right.
is shot. So
It's common sense. It's not even awareness. It's just common sense.
like if one of us is sick, we don't get in the car with you.
Right.
Like I got sick, I just stayed upstairs, and then we had to go someplace, the same place. We took 2 cars. It's just the way it was.
So I ended up with COVID, which meant more pills. And you got to understand, going to the ER, anybody that's been to the ER, it's just a pain in the neck, man. You got blood, you got an IV, blood test, you got the lab tech come in. Sometimes you end up taking a scan. We didn't have to take.
You
The
took
first
X-rays.
one I had to take. No, this one I had to take X-rays again, chest X-rays. I've had so many chest X-rays in my life. Being retired military, trust me, I should light up in the dark.
Well, they were looking for pneumonia because
Right, they had to.
pneumonia for you is fatal.
They had to. Especially since I have tumors in the lungs. So we did all that. Pain in the neck, but it was COVID. Got pills. More pills. And so I'm over that, but still tired all the time.
Well, and for the next week, we had to check your pulse ox multiple times a day
Oh,
and
yeah.
check your temperature multiple times
They
a
were
day.
worried about my oxygen level going down, which it didn't.
No.
But we checked a few times a day.
But you came through it, and everything's good.
And my dad.
Yeah. And your last scan was good. I don't remember if we covered that in the first
We
one or
did.
not. Okay.
That was,
So you were having, at the time we did the last interview, you were having bowel issues. How are those? I know you hate talking about them. We love talking about them.
I know. They're much better than it was.
You still have issues sometimes.
Oh, I
but-
still have issues. I mean, it's not fun. But up till, a week ago? A week and a half ago? It was 1,000 times worse than it is. Right now, it's bad. You know, for me, bad is good compared to what I was going through. You know? I mean, you're in a car, you had to remember where there was a Best Buy, a McDonald's, a Home Depot. You had to know where every bathroom was on the way. And it's not as bad now.
Well, we've covered the health, your health been going on, but you've had good things going on. I think we were doing baseball cards before,
you guys found a pretty cool rock and
but we
card.
found we've been doing that Top Stadium Club. We've been having fun with that, which you can see the videos on here if you're interested.
We got one that was valuable. Had to check on it 4 or
Is
5
valuable.
times because we couldn't get over the fact that we actually got it, and it was as rare as it is.
Yeah, it's an Anthony Volpe photographer's proof. Ew. But I mean, yeah, it's worth money. We're not selling them.
The
whatever.
odds of getting it is so rare that we just really had a hard time believing it's what we had.
And then yesterday, well, because you've been told you're playing for the future, so you were able to, since now you can look forward and you don't have to,
We planned a trip for Copper Harbor,
right?
and I'm getting ready to plan a small trip for myself to the Boundary Waters, which is the border of Canada and Minnesota.
Nice.
I want to go up to a lake and just get in a canoe and paddle because it's the quietest place on earth next to Copper Harbor.
That's why you wanted the daggone roof racks.
Yes. Pretty much.
Well, is this
Speaking of roof racks, I got a new car. Now I pick it up this week. It's a Bronco Sport. And it's the weirdest green you've ever seen. Brighter than the Shifty Cup. Show them the Shifty Cup.
It's about the same color, actually. You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Maybe we got to put our logo on the side of it. If you don't know, we got the big Ed and the Pups. That's our kind of our logo I came up with because I can't draw. But
But it's about that color. It's a Bronco Sport. I traded my truck because I haven't been hauling my camper. And besides that, my ability at driving my truck and pulling things is not what they once were. Ed pulls the trailer. We each got a side-by-side. And we got a big trailer that we haul that we'll be taking to Copper Harbor because it's a blast.
if you want to see what that looks like, we have videos from last year of us going to Copper Harbor, and
You got to see it. You got to
and
see
the
it.
side by sides are up there. Actually, I'll make a note. I will put the link to that under in the description in the video for the Copper Harbor trip.
It's that awesome. It really is. Everybody I know would enjoy it. My brother and my father couldn't understand why I liked this place so much that they went with me last summer. And they couldn't believe it existed because they've been to Michigan many times, but they'd never been to the northwest corner of the Upper Peninsula. and it's the tippy top. And it's the end of the highway. Highway 41, as a matter of fact. Maybe you know the Tamiami Trail if you're in Florida going through Fort Myers. Well, it comes all the way up and ends in Copper Harbor.
Now, to end the video, you have a big date coming up here in a few days. Actually, next week.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday. What is that?
I don't know.
It's Valentine's Day, but does it mean anything else to you?
Oh,
Oh,
I was told in the beginning that I had a year to live. And that if I wanted to do something, I should do it right away. More or less, as close to the exact words as you could say, go home and die. Well, this is YouTube. How can I say it? One thing I've told everybody from day one, I'm not going down like a
You can say the word.
witch. I'm not going down that way.
It'd be better if you said the actual word than which.
I ain't going down like a bitch. The guys I served with, they made a couple calls, more or less feeling me out. My friends here were a little surprised, and I had to explain to them that's the way we are. They wanted to make sure I wasn't going to take the easy way out, get a ride in the Cessna, the parachute, and leave the parachute in the Cessna. On exit, well, I'm not going down like a bitch. I'm fighting. And here we are going on 1 year. I'm still freaking here. And don't cut me out.
Well, now they're telling you you could look year and a half, 2, 3, 4
Well,
years. Now there's no end in
you
sight.
guys are seeing things, and I'm seeing things where people are 8 years.
Right.
yeah.
8 years. And you're going to tell... Now, let me put something out to you people watching this. How many people told to go home and die did? Because mentally they gave up. Because they believed it. They believed it in their soul, in their mind. They're devastated, which is... You hear the C word, you are devastated. Whether it's you personally or a loved one. Or a friend. So imagine being told that by your doctor. What the hell? They got no right to say that. Nothing. And I know I said it in the first video. The first thing that the nurses at chemo told me before they ever put a needle in me was, do not believe what the doctors tell you. You fight. You fight every day. Don't give up. That is the exact opposite of what the doctor said. So if you're listening to this, and you have a loved one or a friend, don't let them give up. Screw what that doctor tells you. Screw that. Nobody knows your end of days. I mean, if you believe in a higher power, you pretty much, they know, you don't. For me, that's the way I personally believe. God knows my date. I sure as heck don't. Which means that doctor don't.
Well, we all left that. I mean, I wasn't at the doctor's appointment. I was at the lunch after the doctor's appointment. And your brother, all of us, all did the same thing. We all researched the crap out of this thing. Not that whatever we did a doggone good.
Right.
No one gave up. No one gave that date.
But
No
all of
one
a sudden,
around.
we all started, my brother, my friends, started finding out there's no time limit.
No.
But I honestly do believe, mentally, if you give up,
No.
it's impaired, it'll happen.
Them giving you a time limit was wrong.
You did have a one-up against a lot of people, though.
It had not got to the liver.
Well, but even though you were stage 4, you were still pretty physically strong, and you had been dieted and exercising, and a lot of people weren't at that physical capability.
Well, they say that it's the hardest one to find until it's too late, usually. And even the nurses said they're not used to seeing somebody that looks like me with pancreatic. They usually don't catch it to the very end. And you even had a doctor tell you that another doctor, who is a oncologist,
Or pancreatic.
For pancreatic cancer. He was a pancreatic cancer oncologist, and it got him.
He's
in the
gone.
end, right?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
gone.
He's gone.
But I mean, it got him so late.
Quick. Yeah, he got it quick. But to put to show your progress, I mean, what's going on with you? A year ago in March, we built a deck in a day.
Yes.
And you couldn't help at all. Not complaining.
Right.
You couldn't. And what did we do today?
Worked on the deck.
Yeah.
Different.
You know though, you had seen something online. When they first discover it, they do a biopsy. They want to determine it is in fact cancerous tumors or not. And I laid on my chest and they went through my back into the lung. And that's where they took the biopsy.
Yeah.
Cold air was like razor blades in my lungs. It's still painful, but nothing as extreme as what it was that first 6 months. That first winter through spring.
Couldn't go outside.
I had to have a scarf and stuff over my nose and mouth. And now, if it's real cold, I still do. But it's nothing like it was. And you were reading that it's the biopsy where they actually made the tear into the lung that could be a lot of the origin of that pain. But
Yeah.
it was painful.
My point was you're doing better physically today than you were
Oh, yeah.
a year ago, because even before you found out you had the pancreatic cancer,
I had troubles for a year.
you were having problems, and you're not having those problems now.
No.
So
But for that year, I was having troubles breathing. I was out of breath.
you're in pain,
Yeah.
that stomach pain, you're having back pain.
And I'd had COVID the day after that Christmas, and in July I had Lyme disease. I mean, the bullseye. I mean, it just happened.
Yeah.
And all that, they just kept putting everything I had, saying it was a combination of the two, which now we know it was. On top of this,
Yeah.
it was a combination of three. But looking backwards and being angry at anybody doesn't serve me any good.
No, but folks shouldn't give up, because here we are a year later.
Right, we're
and
looking
you're
ahead, not
You're
behind.
in better shape than you were a year ago.
But a lot of that comes to having good friends and family, because it's a team. I'm not in this alone. Even though I'd always said if I was in this situation, I'd rather be alone. And I hate putting people through this, friends or family. I don't like putting them through this. But having that team sure as hell makes things better to move forward, because nobody talks to me like I'm dying today. Nobody talks to me like, woe is you. Everybody, it's like we're doing things.
Do you know what would happen if somebody talked to you like you were dying?
It'd be a butt whooping.
You would have a line of people going after that person, because everything stays positive, period.
And we're too busy planning things. We ain't got time.
We got stuff to do. You got stuff to do. You're going to have a new car to enjoy. We got trips to go on.
Big gross.
I won't get to drive the new car though. That's the only sad thing, is I got a feeling it's going to be confiscated by somebody.
You bought a weird car, taking that to work. But the other thing though is, it's not, you've put work into making it this far. It's not just, there's been rough days. There's been.
But the big thing was mental.
Right.
But when if you run cross country, it's 90% mental. If you got to jump out of a plane at 25,000 feet in the middle of the night, it's mental. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. It doesn't help. You got to have the mental attitude to jump out of that plane. It's as simple as that.
I think Annabelle's trying to tell us something.
It's a good time to break. We got puppies that got to go to the potty, and that's a full upgrade through today.
But we'll check in within a week or two, and hope you all come back and watch, and we'll do this again, maybe in a different spot, maybe on a deck next time, if the weather cooperates.
Yeah.
But take it easy.
Bye-bye.